work for nonprofits in the community, and those from, we have our mayor from the municipality. What we're gonna do is you guys will give about 3-minute talk and explain what you did over the weekend, and you can hook it up here. And then the panel will ask you some questions and give you some feedback. And then afterwards we'll do a quick little award ceremony. And so the first team up is the energy team.
And just as the energy team is going up, there's a lot of people that made this a great event, but Claire Ralph was the project manager, so if we could just have a quick and go.
Okay, hello. Hello, everybody. Thank you, judges and everybody. This is the energy team. The problem is that Princeton uses lots of energy. We use, in the last 12-month period, we used 290 mega kilowatts of electricity and 32 mega therms of natural gas. And simultaneously, Princeton is committed to reducing our total consumption of fossil fuel by 20% by 2020, and yet we still don't actually even know the sort of baseline year or amount. So how would we accomplish this? The opportunity is that we had a partnership with Sustainable Princeton and Christine. We got data from PSE&G, which was relatively granular, monthly data for both the borough and the township, electric and gas, partitioned by various different lines of business. And we also had individual house data, happens to be my house, to enable us to sort of check things from the very large scale to the small scale. So we have an excellent team. Everybody contributed all sorts of different ways. That was one of the best parts of the aspect. And the tools, we used all sorts of different tools. So the hack was to build a website called Green Graph that enables visualization and understanding of our town's energy data, enables user-contributed content for personal insights and comparison with cohort use.
And so let me get you to the website portion. Okay, let's start at the beginning here. All right, folks. Here. So upon landing on the page, you see Green Graph here. Since 2009, Princeton used, it has the mega kilowatt hours of energy. All of the data in green is actually pulled live from the PSE&G data. So as new data is uploaded every month or so, those numbers will actually change on the fly for anyone viewing the website. And we tried to give the site a nice flow, so if you click Get Started here, you start seeing some more live data. So we have all gas usage since 2009 and electric usage. And our chart is really hard to see on that screen, but there is a chart. All right. And so from here, we kind of wanted to give people a quick overview of some of the data we have, and we want to try to inspire them to add their own data to it, so they can start getting really granular with the graphs. They can view per year. It will generate it on the fly for them. And you can just explore this data as well as register. And if you register and sign up, you will be able to add your own house to 3 minutes.
Great, thank you. We have 3 minutes of questions. Optionally, you might have to turn on your mics.
I'll start. I'm Mayor Lempert, and I'm blown away by this. It's amazing. And I guess my question would be, is this website online now, so if people wanted to get at it?
It's hosted locally on my box, which is available, but we have to find a permanent home for it still.
Okay, well,
Is this on? That's how technological I am. I'm Diane Landis. I'm the Executive Director of Sustainable Princeton, and we have been trying to get this kind of data for probably 2 years, 2.5 years. And I just congratulate everybody for giving us the beginning stages of what I see as real action towards changing people's habits around energy. What I'm excited about is how do we take this and then create some kind of a visual symbol, something action-oriented that will engage the community in actually coming back to this and signing up, and I really applaud you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, we actually explored an idea was to almost make a badge of sorts for people once they register to post up on their website or something saying, you know, we're committed to green energy with Princeton, here's our score or something. But obviously, because we had so much to do, we didn't quite get there yet.
Yeah, next phase.
Yes, yes.
So you might have mentioned this, but where is the data being hosted?
The data is hosted, currently it's hosted just on our development boxes until we give it a permanent home, but it is in a database and there is an API so people can access the data if they want to make their own app as well.
Hi, I'm Lauren from Sustainable Jersey, and I think this is really great and what you guys were able to put
Thank you.
together in such a short amount of time. Visually, it's really good looking. My question is, who's responsible then for updating the data every month?
So we
Doing that?
put a bit of an import tool in, so you can actually just import Excel spreadsheets right from, say, PSE&G. That still needs to be finished fleshing out. It does import, we just need to tune it a little bit. But we're hoping we're gonna have most of the team continue to work on this after today and really, you know, make it great for the next month or so.
I think it's also hosted on our website, am I right, Christine?
This? No, not now.
Not yet.
Hi, I'm Andrew Ehrlichson from MongoDB. So you said you could add your own house if you wanted. Is that a manual process where you add your own house's data, or do you have some way to authenticate to PSE&G and get the data?
We didn't quite get to that point in the process. That's something we want people to kind of help us start coding after today's event. People can register, they can sign up, and adding their own data in is a future endeavor.
Okay, got it.
Chris, you had a quick question.
Yeah, you said you use the API, an API from PSE&G to get that data on the front page. Is that how that worked, or?
No.
So the data is,
So the data is provided to us in Excel from PSE&G. So what we were talking about, the import functionality they were trying to build would give someone at Sustainable Princeton the ability, as we get that data, to easily import that so it dynamically updates the site.
right, and then it translates it so that the site can easily read those Excel spreadsheets.
And that's
Because on the main homepage, I thought it was said that that dynamically updates over time. Are you just using trending based on past history to do that, or are you getting that from a live source?
The website is live and reads its own data, so if its data is updated, then the website
I get it.
is
Okay.
dynamic.
All right, so
There's no
somebody in the back end is
we don't
looking
know
at
a API yet for integrating with
All right,
PSE&G.
well, maybe you can work with PSE&G
Yeah.
and get
Great.
that.
Yeah.
Good.
That's fun.
As
Thanks.
part,
Thank you.
one last thing, we actually hosted the energy data on a database that anyone can access in Amazon using MongoDB. So if anyone wants access to the data programmatically, we can provide that.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Team number 2 is the cycling team. Do we have a cycling team rep?
How did the graphs look? 'Cause from here, right, it looked like the numbers. I like the two.
And if the SAVE team also wants to be ready to go next. Thanks. Do you have just a PC?
What?
It's a PC? Yeah.
I forgot to have the panelists introduce themselves, so why don't we do that right now?
There's one here.
I'm Ralph Wagner. I organize the Princeton Community Data Bank and with Princeton Future and the Traffic and Transportation Committee.
I'm Liz Lumpert, Mayor of Princeton.
Sorry.
I'm Chris Borowski. I'm one of the co-founders of Princeton Tech Meetup. We meet here in this room once a month, so if you're interested in doing more techie things, meeting more techie people, we look that up online, just look at Princeton Tech Meetup. I'm also a mobile app developer for my career.
Wait a second, you're not.
Florence Gronsky from Sustainable Jersey.
Diane Landis with Sustainable
Okay, so
Princeton,
it's
trying
all
to
the way
change
over there. I
the
can't
habits, to
remember.
change
So
the
you're
world.
somehow not mirroring it.
I already said this, but I'm Andrew Ehrlichson from MongoDB. I run our developer experience team, so documentation and
Where's
education, and also the software drivers that
It's
connect to the
something
database.
strange
I'm a resident
where
of Princeton,
your
as
window's
well.
all the way over. Stephen?
There. It's okay. That's fine. Okay. It's doing the thing where it's only got one. That's okay. You're fine? All right, that's fine. Thanks.
Okay. Okay.
You set?
I'm set.
Okay, go.
Okay, thank you. So in the last few years, in hackathons like this, a few cities, big cities, San Francisco, Atlanta, and Philadelphia, have gotten themselves a project where they track cycling activity and use that for planning. We have a small problem. We are not Philadelphia, we are Princeton. So we don't have 1.5 million people giving us their tracks or as candidate users. We just have 30,000 users total possible as a population. And then we need our application to actually be useful to cyclers and help them make the most, and that's already a goal by itself. We want to possibly in the future integrate with Access Princeton and provide many other services to cyclers, such as weather, if there's going to be rain now, right before they go, so they have a good reason to use this application. We'll have a good reason to use this application. But for now, what we have, which is what we really care about. So we started from a different app that is not the usual app that most people use to track their cycles, but one that is used for many different things. And the goal is that we can add more services onto this, for example, see sports or report to goal tracking systems, etc. And for now, it already, when we press start logging and go out for a cycle and then stop logging, it enables us to upload to the Cycle Philly server that goes to the Delaware Valley Planning Committee and fill in the various fields that they need for their planning purposes and save and submit it. And in addition to that, to be useful to the user already, we send them to a basic information page about cycling in Princeton that has links to things that people have created over years of cyclability maps and summaries of the rules that are relevant for cycling in Princeton as a starting page for people to become part of the cycling community instead of just taking their ride to work. And that's it. Thank you.
Questions?
Yeah.
This is a question.
Yep.
Am I on?
Yeah.
This is a question that may relate to future work, but most of the cyclists, when we've done surveys, say they want to find the safest route. Just the way cars want to know what the traffic condition is on roads.
Yep.
Do you see the possibility of developing an app where a cyclist could click on your app and find what road might be best to go through town or get to where they're going?
Right. So at the moment, there are route planning programs, both commercial like Google Maps and also based on OpenStreetMap, which is a map created by citizens and that we would prefer to use because it's easier to make sure that our information is on there, the information we care about. And we'd like to integrate that with a cyclability map that's already been produced here to gather some of this information about safety. But it's definitely not in there now, but it's certainly a possibility. One of the things that I talked about as a goal in the beginning is that one of the difficulties is gathering data because there's not all that many cyclers. So one of the things that we'd like to do in this particular app is encourage people to go out of their usual way and give feedback. So our very next features are report something is wrong, or report maybe a bike rack is full, or this route is kind of dangerous and stuff like that, and explicitly elicit answers to get more information so that we can make better route planning faster.
So the way it's set up right now, will it track where people are cycling in addition to giving people advice on which route to take? It does both?
The main thing it does now, it does the two things. Send them to one easy page where they get the advice. And the other thing is track their trip right now and put it on the same server that things are reported to currently. So we haven't yet made the last connection. We have all the data, but are not uploading it just because we want to make sure we're uploading the right format, but it's almost there. Yeah.
I think this is really great. Maybe this is more a question for Mayor Limpert. I think plugging it into Access Princeton is a really great idea. It's just sort of the one-stop shop where people can go to get information. So do you have any sense of how doable that would be to plug it into Access Princeton? I don't know if you guys explored that at all, or?
So during the weekend, we did not expect to get very good answers or anything about that, and we had other priorities, but it's definitely something we would like to do, because I've used Access Princeton, and it's very nice to have this connection to the municipality, but there's no way someone is going to do that while riding a bike, right? It's not fast enough. There's too many different options for things to do in Access Princeton. So what we would like is to access an API for Access Princeton, where we just give very few options that are cycling concentrated, such as pothole here. Just press a button, that's it, right?
Yeah, I don't have necessarily a technical answer to that, but I know the platform we use for Access Princeton is SeeClickFix, and they're based in New Haven, Connecticut. And I know New Haven has had a hackathon this weekend that is revolving around SeeClickFix, and it might be a nice partnership between Princeton and Yale, who are normally not always you know, to do something jointly with that, and I mean, I don't want to speak for them, but I would think that SeeClickFix might be potentially interested, so it's worth reaching out to them.
So if we can get help making the connection to them, and also getting the, of course, the municipality has to agree for us to put data in their SeeClickFix, so that would be great. Yeah.
Let's hear it for cycling.
Yeah.
Next up, we'll have SAVE. Having a little leeway for the students on time. So.
Yeah. They will.
Hi, my name is Ben, and we are the Save App team. So on the top right, on the top left-hand corner, you can see there's like a building right there with all of us standing in front, and that's the current Save shelter. So as you may think, the shelter is very small. There's very little space for the pets, the food, the shelter, all the cages, all the supplies that they need. But then on the top right, there's a big building right here, and that will be all. That's a new shelter for Save, and so this will be all the offices for all the people working at Save, and then right here will be the new shelter. So all the animals and cats will have a home in there. So how we got started, I have previous volunteering experience with Save, and over 5 years I raised $5,000. And one of the funny stories that I have with Save is, if you can see right there, there's a cat in front of me, and I would use a laser like this to just draw shapes with the laser, and the cats would go crazy trying to get it. So anyway, Itcha and I, we were on the same robotics team, and we wanted to do more coding than we were doing. So and then Profil right here, he was developing an app, and he was my neighbor. So together we formed a team to build this app. So we met with Save, and Miss Burrows and Miss Killian at Save, they gave us feedback and ideas of what they wanted in an app. And then the Princeton Library, they introduced us to Miss Ralph, and then through her we got involved with Code for Princeton, and my dad and I, we attended many hack nights, and we met several different people like Ms. Claire, Mr. Mambier, Mr. Ederick, and so many more, and we thank you for your help and support. And the three of us, we also met with an entrepreneur named Savraj at Tiger Labs, and he gave us a source of motivation and what we can do when we grow up if we continue and follow our passion. So I'd now like to turn it over to Praful for the development process.
Hi, my name is Praful Sharma. I'm going to talk to you about the development process that our app went through today. So my dad and I, we evaluated several cross-platform IDEs that would deploy our app to both Android and iOS devices. And we settled on Accelerator because it developed more native applications. And Accelerator uses a combination of XML and JavaScript, so we had to go on Code Academy and some other websites to learn these two languages. And Accelerator Studio uses a framework called Alloy, which uses the MVC framework, the Model View Controller. It basically separates the UI components from the controller components of the app to make the developing process faster and easier. So almost every Saturday and Sunday at my house, we would have a codeathon. For 2 hours, we would just sit down and get stuff done for our app. And we also followed an iterative development process, which just basically means we kept prototyping. We designed for a while, we started developing, then we went to save. They gave us our feedback. Came back, we made changes on our app according to whatever feedback Save gave us. And in general, as a team, we learned a lot about mobile development. We learned a lot about what goes on to put the app actually on the App Store. And we just had fun working as a team. And I'm just going to give it to Itcha. She's going to tell us all about the progress of the hackathon we made and next steps.
Hi guys, I'm Itcha. I'm also a 7th grader like Ben, and just wanted to talk about the progress that we made at this awesome hackathon and the next steps that we're going to take. So, with the help of Mr. Chris, Mr. Sharma, Mr. Lyle, and everybody here, we got something really, really important done. One of our big objectives at this hackathon was that we really wanted to connect a database to our application so we could get live pet data for our app. So that was something that we accomplished here, and we are really, really glad that we got this done because it's taking our app to the next level so we can actually put it to use. What we also did in the beginning of this hackathon is we set up our area in the front over there, and we invited everybody in. We told them a bit about our app, and we got about 3 or 4 people to work with us on this project so that we could have so much more knowledge in our group and we could share our perspectives and just work as a team. Also, just some fun things that we did was the team and I, we jogged up to campus, got some ice cream, chilled out, took some pictures, just enjoyed the moment and just chilled out together. So that was something really fun. But when we did get back, we put our heads down and got back to work, and we completed our donation page. And we also attended the MongoDB speaker session. Thanks, Mr. Andrew. He really taught us a lot of stuff about it, and it was really insightful. So, the next steps for this whole project. We are planning to do some live testings with the Save team and themselves so we can see how it works with their facility. And also, we are going to see how it works out with a couple of customers so we can see what we need to improve if we do. And then finally, we would like to launch this application with the opening of the new facility that Ben was talking about in the first slide, so we can put this application into full use. And just as on behalf of the whole team, we really, really enjoyed this experience of the hackathon. Thank you to Miss Claire, Mr. Mambier, and everybody else who contributed, because whether it was computer programming or just working together and cooperating together, we just really got to bond as a team and just have fun together. So thank you for the experience, and we are open to answering any questions you might have about the SAFE process.
You said you were getting live data from Pet Finder. Can you explain just a little more detail on what that means, what that is?
Okay, so our app, so on our application, it's using the API from PetFinder. It's basically using PetFinder's URL to get live data from all the information they have about the pets there, so we can view all the stats, the photos. Because before we actually hard-coded everything in our application, so it was kind of packaged with it, but with the help of Mr. Chris and Mr. Lyle, we got connected to PetFinder. So.
Is PetFinder software that the shelter uses currently?
Yes. Yeah, Save uses it right now, but we're just making an app specifically for Save.
Okay.
You guys give me hope for the future, so thank you. And I'm an out-of-towner, so can you just tell me really quickly what Save is? It's an animal shelter, I think, and your app will help people adopt?
Yeah, so Save is an animal shelter in Skillman, but they're moving to a new shelter behind the Montgomery High School. And right now they struggle with efficiency and organization. So we wanted to make this app because it's part of a community and we want to help our community, but it was also it's good for us to be able to learn through coding and be able to help this shelter that needs help as they move to a new shelter.
I just wanted to add, I applaud you for having a really holistic project. We got a sense of the fun and also the work, and you also provided us with next steps and a real deadline. And I think those things are incredibly important as we try to kind of move our communities forward. So thank you.
I have a question. I'm really also just totally impressed with what you were able to accomplish this weekend. And I was wondering what advice you would have for other young people if you want to try to get more young people at the next hackathon, what your advice would be for how to get more kids involved and how they can be successful.
Well, I think our whole group's advice would be to just kind of get them involved in the early age. So, an example would be like maybe like this is an example that's in our school. I worked with my computer teacher to kind of start up a small after-school club called Texters, and there we just kind of introduced some MIT App Inventor, Raspberry Pi, and stuff like that, so people could kind of get a feel for how it was and what they might have liked, because we gave them several options. So if you do that in different school districts, you could kind of spark their interest, and then from there they could move forward. And then also by advertising these type of hackathons, it could also give them a good leverage when it comes to deciding what they want to do.
So are you saying that computer programming is taught in your middle school?
Computer programming, it's not to an extent. Like we get taught HTML and CSS and a couple things for robotics and just some things like that, but there's not too much. That's why we decided to create an after-school club, because there wasn't that much available. So that's what we have in our school district right now.
Can we hear it for the Safe group? Next we have restaurants.
Kids were saying the importance of the mentorship, and so maybe if the next one could have a lot of mentors. I know the
Just give it a
has
second.
mentor,
Sure.
and so maybe letting the students know that when they come, there's going to be lots of mentors here, and have projects
Doesn't
that
look
are.
like it picked
I think
up.
also
Are
this
you
app
on?
is so of
Or is it
interest
just
to
me on?
students because of the connection to animals. So having projects that are
I can
something that's
switch
going to
back
really
and then back
speak to their
again after
passions,
see if it picks
and
it
having
up.
mentors
Oh.
here to help.
Searching for source. It's working here. Yeah, okay. It doesn't like the HDMI cable, I don't think. But, oh, you know what? I remember what it is. Everybody's got a different hookup.
I will read you to
Thunderbolt. Do you want me to bring that and plug it in? It's like
While
that
they're,
adapter.
is this on?
It's like the VGA to Oh no, Thunderbolt. because I switched. I had to switch systems. It's like the VGA to Thunderbolt. I have the.
Well, while they're
It
getting
should
set up,
work.
I just wanted to give a hand again to Claire, Ralph, and the team that put this together. It's been an amazing, amazing.
This is HDMI? No, what is this?
And I just
This
know
one's
from the
HDMI.
energy in the
Yeah,
room, this
so
was
the
the first
HDMI
hackathon, but I can't imagine it would be the last
Yeah,
one.
try and get a
So
different. We'll see if that
people
works better.
have advice or thoughts about data sets that they'd like to see for the next one, be thinking of that, and I'm sure we'll be having more conversations before the next one, but we'd certainly be interested in finding out what data people will be interested in working on for the next one.
Could I add to this?
Yeah.
I'd like to add to what the mayor has said. The community has a lot
I put it on the
of data
cable.
needs.
It's HDMI to the.
What we need is help. And we've had a hard time bringing young people into the effort because they know how to
What's
provide
the,
the help
beyond the
we
Thunderbolt
need.
to VGA?
So I would
That's the
hope
Thunderbolt to
we
VGA.
don't think of this as a one-day event, but that most of you agree to continue through the year. The community comes to you with an app question that we'd like to have solved, and you help us solve it. And if you're willing to do that, we'll look to Claire and the other leaders of this effort to help sort of be the switch box that would bring people in on a question. But we've got about 8 or 9 big questions we'd love to have you address.
Well, and actually, just speaking of that, I don't think Claire's announced it yet, but, so Claire and I were talking about next steps and to keep the momentum going, and we didn't want to lose the momentum from
Just
this
doesn't
event.
like your
So
computer.
actually, this Friday night, coming up, June 12th, there is going to be another hack night here
Is
at the
there a
library,
screen
just
before
from
we
6
do
to
this?
9. So if you have your team want to get back together to talk next steps, we're going to be upstairs on the 3rd floor in the teen area, and we've coordinated them.
Yeah,
I
sure.
don't know if anybody knows this, but every other Friday night in the summer, the library hosts Dancing Under the Stars out on the
Sometimes it takes
plaza.
like
It's
20
something
seconds to come
fun
back.
for the
Yeah.
community, some free entertainment. We do that with Central Jersey Dance, so it's going to be on dance nights. So we're open late here anyhow, and then once you're done coding, you can go out and dance for an hour. Because the dancers stay out there until 10 o'clock. So, what did they,
Yeah, the next
Was
one is
working
this
2 minutes
Friday,
ago, I don't know.
June 12th, 6 to 9. We always have an orientation table set up
let's
at
just
all of our hack nights, so if you're
Do you
new
need
to the
power?
community,
No, there's the
you're
colors
maybe not
there
a tech
already.
person, we'll always have that table
See
set
the
up with one of
75%.
us there to help guide you and get you onboarded onto some type of project so you can make a meaningful contribution.
and I think we're looking at maybe doing some hack nights.
Suiting.
Yeah, we also, we're aiming
No,
for 2 hack nights a
which
month
one?
right
Which
now.
one?
We're gonna do one at the library on these Fridays, and then the
Ready?
other one's gonna be
Yep.
on the 4th Thursdays at Tiger Labs. And the way to keep up with us is to join our meetup group. And we'll also get a new website up right now, it's all dedicated to the hackathon.
Okay.
That
It
we've
could
been,
be.
hacking our new
No, it's on
website.
Yeah, yeah, it's good, we're
That was
good.
our job. So,
Thanks very much.
it'll be up this week.
Yep, ready.
Okay, go.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Umar, and I'm here with my whole team, Shiram, Pat, and Elizabeth, right over there sitting. So our project is all about the health grades coming from the health department for all of these restaurants we eat here. Yes, yes.
Microphone. Is it on? Thank
Okay.
you. Speak into it.
It's like I thought that my voice is loud enough for everybody to
No,
hear.
wait. Okay, don't speak so loudly.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fine. Okay.
Beautiful, thank you.
Okay. So our project is all about the health grades coming from the health department of Princeton, of all of these restaurants here. We eat every single day from these restaurants, and we need to make sure that what are we eating is pretty much clean and good for us to eat. So we got this data. So let me show you the data here. Sorry about that. So we got this data here, and it's pretty generic. We have the name of the restaurant, we have the grade, whether it's satisfactory or unsatisfactory, and we have the addresses, phone number, and fax. It pretty much doesn't really solve our problem, whether they barely pass 2 out of 10 or 5 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. And we really need to make sure that they not only just fulfill the basic requirement to be safe for people to eat, we also need to make sure that they are clean enough so we could go there more often. So what we did is we collected all of this data and put it onto a website where this is the desktop version of the website we have here. We have the name, we have the address, and it shows whether it's satisfactory or not. We also have the menu and the reviews. If you click on the location, it gives you the exact location where it is located. Right now, we're currently working on it. We didn't have much time to put in the directions. We had that plan that if somebody's standing on the corner of the street and if they really want to locate the restaurant, they can just get the directions. Also, we tried to put some reviews from Yelp. It's loading right now. So you can also check the menus, there's like whether people like the cuisine or not. And we also want to make sure that this is not only a website where people would open their laptop and see while they're sitting at home. We want to make it really mobile. So we also have the mobile version of the website, which is right over here. You can see the detail page, and over here you can see. And also one more thing we want to show that there is a good percentage of people living in Princeton, they go for vegan. So we also have this option right here. Those who offer vegan, we also have that vegan. So we try to put these small pieces to make that big picture. So it's like on a click of a button, like they could okay, whether are they offering vegan cuisine on the menu.
Yeah.
Questions?
Yep.
I have a question.
Yep.
So do you live pull the data from Yelp, or did you pull it just once and?
It's like live data from the Yelp. Yep. It's like the next step to this project is that we also wanted to have a mobile app for the inspectors going to the restaurant. So not only that they have to write everything on a piece of paper, then it goes to the health department and they have to review. They can just put in the information then in there and it would be live on the website.
We have that. It works.
Yep. Here. So we have the database here. So you have all of these columns and we have the table so you can add in more information. We are also thinking more sort of on a scoring model where the restaurants pass by 90 out of 100 or 80 out of 100. So right now, New Jersey State doesn't have that. They only have two things, either satisfactory or unsatisfactory. They don't have a scoring model. So I guess that by working on this project, we can show them that we can make our restaurants more safer and cleaner to eat.
So we want to continue growing this area. We had to clean it because the health department was in a hurry when they assembled the data. They just spelled Princeton like 90. So we took like 20 or 30 local restaurants that we all go to from up here. But we want to continue adding.
You said you want to search by location. Do you have a search interface now? I didn't notice one.
Right now, what we have is you can click on the location and it shows you where it is. So we also need to work on this where you are standing, your actual location and the directions to that.
Is the search in the top left also, I guess? Does that work? Is the search based on cuisine type or by the name of the restaurant or any combination?
There's the address of the restaurant.
Right. How can I, if you wanted to search for a particular type of food, does that search box work to do that?
Yep.
Okay. Is that the only thing it searches for, or is it search on multiple parameters? Like if you want to search for a place that has potato chips or french fries or something?
It doesn't work right now, the search, but we had plans to put in that you could search by cuisine and then you could also search by the reviews 5 out of 10 or 6 or 7 out of 10, or you can do it by in a 2-mile radius or in 1 mile radius, how close it is, how hungry are you, so it depends upon that.
10 seconds.
I was going to say one of the great things, useful things about the group that was working on this app was that they discovered the data we were collecting was really insufficient.
Yep.
And it was a learning experience for Princeton had actually asked the state a few years ago, we wanted to start ranking our restaurants, doing the health reviews with the letter grades like they do in New York City, and the state said we're not allowed to do that. So now we have some citizens who are also upset by this, and hopefully we get the energy to go back to the state and say we should really be giving out the A, Bs, and Cs instead of the pass-fail.
Yep.
Can we hear it for restaurants? Next up, carpool.
So how do I connect up the laptop?
Okay, so it's gonna be here. I'll help you.
Good morning, members in the room.
You need to speak it to the mic
I'm
so
sorry.
they can pick it up on the live.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. My name is Kiran. I have Peter with me. We're a team of 3 here to present Princeton Rideshare. The one common thing that puts us together in this room is our love for the town of Princeton. And that is the one reason we are here to accomplish something in the past 48 hours and show how we can come together as a community and create something that will help us be good contributors to a beautiful town like Princeton. In the next 3 minutes, we're going to show you how, under the guidance of Peter, we developed a simple app that will help answer 2 questions. One, for the mayor to tell anyone asking her in the near future, show me an app which will help me commute better coming into the town. She will have an answer. For anyone who is resident of the town, want to promote Green Princeton, you will have an answer. And that's Princeton Rideshare. Peter?
So what we did is we structured an app around the idea of carpooling. It is running now on an iPad or an iPhone. I'm going to show it to you on the simulator because I can't connect this up. And the simulator just went crazy.
It might be too high res. We'll see if it picks it up.
Okay, so we didn't push it often enough. And we're waiting here. Should I unplug it and plug it in?
You can try. What kind of a program is it, or is it just?
Just regular program.
Is it like a picture? Okay.
But it. Okay, it's going to come up now.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so here we are. It's an app for an iPhone or an iPad, or it doesn't work on the watch yet. Our team here is Balaji, Kiran, and myself. We are concerned a little bit about the liability of putting people in other people's cars. We had a number of people talk to us about how they might use this app in order to send their children from middle school off to Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or what have you. And so there are a number of liability concerns. So we have a little disclaimer here, which we need to think through the liability issues. But be that as it may, the first thing you do is enter information on the second tab. You can list one of 5 rides here. What you do is you show your location, your starting location. In this case, let's see, how am I going to do this? I want to come from New Brunswick. So there's my map in New Brunswick, and I would click on a location somewhere here. That would establish my starting location A. The ride starts at A, it arrives at B sometime. Well, I need to come to work between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, so I can adjust when I need to show up at work in Princeton. And then I want to leave sometime. Here I've set it up so that I'm leaving my location in Princeton sometime between 5 and 6 o'clock. If I wanted to locate where B is, I would go over here to where I am in Princeton, somewhere down there, and click on location B.
You're over, so you need to.
What? Say again?
You're over, so you need to wrap it up.
I can't hear you.
You need to wrap it up?
I need to wrap it up. So there, once I've defined my move, I then go to match, and I've discovered I've got 2 matches. I match person 1 and person 2. I want to be carpooling as a passenger in my car or not in my car, and I match the criteria of person number 1 and person number 2. I have no idea who person number 1 and number 2 is. You can see that here, person number 1 can show up at this time, but not at that time. And then if I want to communicate with that person, I then send a message. Right now it's all anonymous, but if I say, let's meet at the library plaza, and I can send that message to him, or I can give him my phone number if I want to call me at 609, whatever my number is, and I send that, and then that goes off, and the message has been sent. He will receive that message, he can communicate with me, and we can establish a relationship whereby we would carpool together. That's it. Questions?
I just want to say we just witnessed something remarkable. The mayor's about to get a report from a team, a community team, to deal with the question of how we get more people to get out of their cars and use other ways to get to work. And the major recommendation is ride sharing, and we were recommending an app, and the team has already done it. So you've implemented a recommendation before it even got to the mayor.
It's not quite done, right? Because you may have noticed that number 1 and number 2 really didn't come from a search. So we have to implement all that back end, and that'll take a few weeks, and then of course it'll take 2 weeks to get reviewed at the App Store, but it should be there in July or August.
Is there a back end today?
Pardon me?
Is there a back end today? Is there a database or anywhere it stores data, or is it all locally? Is it a blitz simulation just in the app itself?
Well, the analysis can be done in the app itself. The data will be stored in Apple's Cloud Kit, which has the capability of remembering the geolocation A, the geolocation B, and the various times. And that'll be downloaded into the device, and the device will do the search.
So today the app doesn't make any network connection whatsoever?
The app doesn't do any of that. No.
Except for the maps.
No, the app was nothing yesterday. We mocked it out yesterday during the session, and then we wrote this front end, if you will.
For a very short amount of time, we're building an app that does anything and brings up maps and lets you search it all. It's cool.
Yeah, this is really cool, and it's a great concept. I had a question. I understand if you're looking for a ride, why this would be exciting. What's the incentive for the person who's driving, and is there some way to put something in here that would give an incentive to somebody who's going to be offering something?
Well, that would be discussed here as to why you would do that. You want to say?
Yeah, so sitting in the role that you're sitting, Mayor, and say you have 1,000 people doing rideshare coming into Princeton, you would work with organizations and say promote rideshare using this app. And by the way, NJ Transit gives parking lots dedicated to rideshare people. Why not Princeton allocate few, right? That's from a policy perspective, from where you're looking at. From a commuter perspective, my monthly gas bill is $150. I'm looking at $75, or even further down if I get 3 people in the same car.
30 seconds.
Twofold advantage.
Have you considered a point system maybe? You get points for being the driver and consume points?
Yeah, introducing gaming theory and reward system is one of the common ways to keep the participants motivated. I think we'll take that feedback and include it in our design. Thank you.
If you're always a driver, then it's always your gas unless someone gives you money, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Nice.
Elections is up next. Thank you.
you?
All right, so while they're setting it up. We worked on the election data. We had election data available to us from November 2014. The main two things that we wanted to do was set up a UI for the municipality to enter new election data in the future in an easy way that it can go into a database. And the other thing that we wanted to work on was build some data visualization around the election data. And those are actually also the two things that we did get done, which was really great. So
go ahead.
We can
Stephen, can you see it's not on the screen? So if you could come over and help. Thanks. Sometimes, I don't know what the problem is hers, it's not mirroring?
Yes, it's not mirroring.
Dual screen.
But it's not. It's
So
also
the election data right now is being input into a spreadsheet, which is nice because you can see everything at once, but the data isn't really portable. So half of what we built was an input for the election committee to put in data for each district and each machine within the district for every election component. So this was, this is just the website. It's written in HTML and PHP. The data is saved on a MySQL database. You'll select the district and the machine. And here on the bottom it tells you what you've done already so you can see what you still need to do. When you submit it, you'll see all the elections, the candidates, and then they'll input all of the results. Save it, and then they'll have a choice to download it either as a CSV file or a JSON file. And the CSV file will then be used on Kirsten's part.
Yep. All right, so now we need to do, let's see if we can do it really, really quickly.
Give me a second, it's picking up. Try and duplicate. Could it be that it's too high res?
Too high res? I don't have such a big screen.
So Kirsten worked in a program called Tableau Public, which is free. She took all of the 22 voting districts from Princeton, mapped them out with geolocation point by point, and then superimposed that onto the Tableau.
That's just what it
She
all
grabbed the data from the election website and integrated that district per district, so that when you go over it, you can see for each race what percentage each candidate got in a pie chart, and when you hover over it, it will give you the exact percentage.
Just thank you all for your patience. It's a lot of setup and changeover in between to ask of our system. So thank you all for working with it.
You try the
Hopefully we'll get it.
Yeah, I was trying that, but because
It's a really
at some point
beautiful
I
thing
set
she has
it to
up on her
projector
screen.
only, and so I can't see anything. Like when I try to switch it, it leaves to duplicate, so but that didn't work. That was the problem. For some reason.
Well, they're figuring that out. I thought maybe I could plug something that I thought was really cool that happened at this hackathon. So, our community organizer, Maddie, and Claire, our social media expert, they led a tutorial on OpenStreetMap, which is an open source version of Google Maps. All the stuff you see on Google Maps, all that data is usually owned by somebody, and Google pays licensing fees for it. So if you or I want to make a map or something that needs a map, we can't necessarily just use Google Maps. People often say, why would you make a new map, just use Google?
It didn't do
That's
this
not
before.
open.
I just started doing
So they led this really awesome tutorial where they taught people how to go onto OpenStreetMap and map out different things. You can map out buildings, roads, restaurants, all of that. And then after they did that, they sent those people over to teams like Kirsten's on the elections, or I don't know, Daniel maybe got someone who's cycling to help map out the election districts on that open source map, so that we could actually build something like this for the municipality without having to license data or something like that. That was really cool, and it's an example of how you can start bringing people in who don't necessarily have a lot of programming skills or technical skills. And so
Yeah,
if you're
that's fine.
in the audience and you're one of those people and you're like, how could I possibly
If we don't get it by the time
contribute to
Claire
something like
finishes
this?
talking,
You
then
can
she just show the
come, you can
judges.
do things
Well,
like
now
that.
my mouse
It's not always
I
super
disabled
fun
my
at
mouse, so
first.
now
It can get a little boring drawing those lines, but as you do it, you're contributing, and you're going to be around a lot of people who have a lot of skills, and you can learn from them, and you're kind of like doing back and forth rather than just teaching a class or something like that where someone's really having to volunteer their time. You're doing it's a nice mutual beneficial
Give it a
thing,
second.
which is what we promote.
It's
Are there mobile apps for updating?
Yes, there is.
Yeah, it doesn't
There's
want to.
definitely there's both Android and
I think what's the
iPhone.
what are you displaying at? Take it out. What are you displaying? What's your display right now?
You can just walk around. You can say, "Oh, this is where
No,
my
the actual
back
like
is."
display
Say,
resolution.
like, as the cycling thing develops,
Normally, no,
you
once
want
you're lower,
to
make
know
it lower,
where can
like
I
10,
park my bike?
1280
You
or
can,
whatever.
you know, we could send teams out. Maybe
Yeah,
they do these
down.
things called mapathons, where you bring everyone in and then you walk around
Try that,
the
yeah,
neighborhood
try that.
with a list of things you want to get added to the map. It's really fun. So, yeah, it's fun to throw that out there.
I have a question about it. So is that lives on OpenStreetMap? Like the map of Princeton lives on OpenStreetMap and anybody can
I can't see anything
add to
anymore.
it? It's like a crowdsourced.
It does that when you
Yeah, so
plug it
it's a
in.
crowdsourced
It started to do
thing.
that.
They do have there's a nonprofit that manages it, so they do have like a conflict management process in case there's issues with things being incorrect or something like that. But similar to Wikipedia.
Yeah.
You can also, I believe, save like you can have an account and save layers of the map for yourself too, right? That other people can't access. So if you wanted to, like say like as a municipality and your election districts need to be correct, then you can have that downloaded on your copy.
So, Diane, at one point, I think it was Sustainable Princeton did a green map. Was that on OpenStreetMaps, or is that information still around where that could be moved over?
Let me look for it.
We're just going to show, so.
I think they're still around.
We're just going to let the judges see. And everybody else can see later.
It's actually a public webpage, so at some point we can just share. It's online right now, so basically any laptop could have.
You get to any laptop and show it, so just go to the URL, another laptop.
It's just a really long URL, but if someone else wants to open up the webpage, they can. So what a lot of people helped us draw out all the election districts of Princeton into a map, which I don't know if it's really hard for you to see. So we have a public page online. So we have a page that's already online that anyone can get to. It has the 2014 Princeton election data. We have it like spread out by the election districts. And it's an interactive map where you can click on like you want to see the Senate, or you want to look at like the Princeton Council. Right now, this page shows you just like 1% of the time. But and then we have, since I don't have that much time, I'll just really quickly go through it. We have a bunch of tabs on here. So one of the other things we put together is a map where we have all the pie charts for the questions that were answered. So you can select the question, for example, the disposable bag fee, and you can see the overall results, and then you can see the results for each district. If you hover over one of the pie charts, you can see that in District 15, 181 people voted yes for disposable bag fees, which is 65.8% of votes for that district. And we have the same thing done for the people votes, so the U.S. Senate and all the other votes that were done.
I can verify it looks really beautiful. So I encourage everyone to take a look at some point. So is that Tableau Public something that is meant to interact with the OpenStreetMap, or you just happen to make that connection?
We used OpenStreetMap to, so we had people help us out in OpenStreetMap. They drew over districts. In Tableau you could import like the image map, and we have a way to export like all little data points. So it's not like directly linked to OpenStreetMap, but it's using all the data from there.
Do you guys want to answer your questions to the mic? Just
Please. Does Tableau understand like Latin long, or do that's why coordinates on the image map?
Yeah. You guys could speak into the mic.
Please.
Because they can't pick it up on the live stream, so come over here.
I don't know if there were more questions, but nope.
Okay, great, thank you. Thank you for, it's gonna put you, it's all right. Give it a second to pick up, it's searching, and there we are.
Okay.
Ready?
Find everything again. Okay. Good morning. We're the Princeton walking team, and we have up here some of our team. We got a junior mapper and a living, breathing example of what they were talking about using OpenStreetMap. Janice, our lead mapper here, Matt, and my name's Per. And so we had a challenge question that Liz posed to us. How many Princeton residents live within 10 minutes of a park? And our approach was to, first we got another team member named Peter, and he had access to all your votes, and so we had a list of all the people who voted for Liz in the last election and where they lived. We vetted it with NSA, and then we took it and we geocoded it, which means you take the street addresses and you create lat long points for them. And then we took that data, that gave us a point set of all the addresses in Princeton. And we actually used that we actually didn't know exactly how many people lived at each location, so we can't actually answer the residents. We would have to go to some census data and make some guesses about households. Households would be a fairly decent proxy, but that was too difficult to do also. So we actually, what we used was the street address, and that actually gives us the locations, and it includes people we wouldn't have included in this particular question, like it gives us the option to actually filter the data by commercial locations. So there would be mixed use locations or just commercial properties. How far are they from open space or from a park? And then we were pleased to see that we spent about 5 minutes on this, and we have of course got the answer. That was a pop psychology bit on mine just to see how many people got that one. What I actually did is Matt actually wrote some really cool Python code that he'll talk about in a second, and we after the team put together shape files around all the parks, the officially listed parks. There are lots of open space, and we left those out past open space. And then we went ahead and mapped it, and that looks something like, whoops, of course, on the wrong page. Why am I not connected? Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. Okay. So here's an example of in red. You see the area maps that we put together, and then there's actually some interesting other data points, and the envelopes around the areas are 100-meter boundaries going out to 800 meters. So 800 meters is approximately what a regular person walks in 10 minutes. So you can kind of see here from the parks, you can see what kind of coverage we have in town from the current parks that were listed. The interesting thing we also did is the software we started writing and the framework we put together actually allows you to go back to the original question and change out any of the 3 variables. So residents could be any point set of people that you have geopoints for. The distance could be any value, from 10 minutes to 1 minute. and the other, the aggregation would be distance from any of the other points. The other points on here are the beeline stops. It might be interesting to see how many people live within distance, certain distance.
And that's it.
I didn't see Marchand Park on there, and that may get your other 47.
Any questions?
Liz.
Yeah, I'll just say it's really cool, and it's great to ask a question and see the answer and see it in the detail too. I like that. I think the second or third slide you showed with each of the parks and how many how many addresses were within that 10 minutes. It's really great.
So, two questions. First, to be clear, 42 is entirely a joke, not coincidental.
Yep.
And the second question is, is there a graphical tool you use to create the shape files for the parks and then export information, or do you have to do that?
We just use the open mapping web input interface.
That was for the base.
Yeah, actually, I downloaded the map directly from OpenStreetMaps using their Python API, and then constructed the shape files internally and did all the intersection calculations in the script, which I wanted to show, but I don't know.
Why don't you explain what you did quickly, and I'll try to get it.
I mean, it's about 50 lines of code, so it's a pretty short script, but.
I seem to be disconnected for some reason. All good demos, all really good demos go this way, right?
And
Sorry,
you also
Andrew.
use GitHub as PowerPoint, which is also, I think, worth mentioning.
I threw that together, yeah, but it was a quick place to host it. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a Python. So in summary, it's a Python library that can be applied to some input sets and find the envelopes, and then start up some visualization.
In English, he means we could say how many residents live near a fire hydrant, how many residents live near a hospital. My favorite one was like, how far is the hospital now from like residents that used to have access now that the bus is gone. They did so much of the underwork that to answer questions like that is now really simple.
Yeah, just to clarify, so anyone can, I mean, if you have the right stack on your machine, you can run it locally, but the script is out there on our repo. But basically all it's doing is downloading everything that's on OpenStreetMaps for Princeton. So all the data that's available, and I just searched through for parks, so you could change that to anything. And so I mean, it's really, it would be pretty easy to modify it to change the question.
And we had to enter most of the parks. They weren't there.
So did you do an analysis of how many people are no longer within walking distance, but thinking now that it moved 400 feet?
I mean, that's actually pretty easy to do.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks to all our teams. And then we're having how much time for?
Yeah, let's do 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. You guys can eat and get some coffee while the judges confer, and then we'll come back and announce a few awards real quick. And then we gotta get out quick.
Quick, 1 minute.
Yes.
Thanks for helping.
Hi, Kristen. Nice to meet you.
Oh, you're gonna leave?
Yes,
Oh,
nice to meet you.
Will you come to another event?
Not this weekend, and not this Friday, but the next one.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. It was great to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, so that's about it.
Joe, yeah, he was in here today. Yeah.
Can I please have all of the core organizers, that would be the Claires and here and anybody else who is a core member of Code Princeton, meet out in the library lobby for a photo, please.
Sorry, that's mine.
You had the endurance marathon live tweeter. You're like breaking a sweat at emojis. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty good. And there are a couple who've been watching like early yesterday. They're watching like code. I think they were just doing it. Had it on the background or whatever. You can look up names. That's about it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it just, like, usually oh yeah, we've got a dozen of people. It's catching up to all the things that my iPad was not awake.
I was gonna say, but you guys really got it rolling in now.
Yeah. But it was going really quick.
I didn't see how many
about 12 to 14. Yeah, I think we had 35. Really?
Random people that were like, I guess they put it on as their background noise.
Yeah. Some people enjoy that. Like when I'm cleaning or something, I might throw on Twitch because something, people talking. I liked it this morning, the way you had it set up. It was the whole team. You could see it really well.
Yeah, it was cool. That's kind of how we did the other two. We had the chair as the camera.
Yeah.
So you felt like you were sitting.
I just feel like back from content, I have a flash drive.
Yeah, I think the flash drive really did too. I'm gonna see if I can upload it somewhere, but I haven't even looked at it since time. So. And I think YouTube doesn't let you upload really long stuff until you have a certain number of viewers or something. Yeah. Or just like something there. We'll figure something out.
Thank you for facilitating this.
Yeah.
I really admire you. Like a really
No, it needs to be that way. It needs to be that way. Everyone understands too.
Especially because I got to get out of here exactly at once.
Well, we have a guy doing a musical at 3, and they want to practice beforehand. So,
Are you optimistic?
I am actually. I'm far more optimistic I was. So I told him he couldn't come in before 2. And I told Claire she had to be up at 1. So, all right.
See, that's professional right there.
Yeah, it is.
I hope so. I wanted to, this week, I'm going to give it the website like my laptop, which is currently hosting it. You know what I mean? Luckily, it's all about the cloud, but like, it's still not fast. You know what I mean? Like, I'd want to have somewhere a .com domain or something. You know what I mean? That's stuff that I didn't have time to do. But this week, I definitely want to give it a .com and then permanent. And that way she'll have something to vote. It's not going to go down in like a couple days. That was my big worry, is that if everyone starts linking to my little box, and then I go work on a different project, it's going to be like, check out Nickel Princeton, and then they're looking at like some other completely different app, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, no, I never linked it.
It's cool, I'll leave it on there for a while. That was my only worry. Because that's when they ask me, like, oh, is it hosted somewhere? I'm like,
do you have hosting or server space?
I do. There's always hiccups, so I knew this was coming, so I figured I'd just not do that.
I'm just making sure because I have lots of extra.
What do
You know, it's just virtual.
Yeah, I'd like to staff. And they're usually pretty nice on the part. Like, if you like forget to pay for a day or two, like I usually do, they just like, oh, bill's overdue, but you're not like, you know, site's not going down for a while. Yeah, they're very nice about it. And they let you pay for PayPal. So if you do like, you say running or something, you know what I mean, through PayPal,
Going anywhere? Oh yeah, we're doing like a little picnic at the. It's like the end of their. They kind of like celebrate their school years, kind of in a way, or that's when they're getting by, and then everyone kind of leaves in the summer. So it's like, yeah, sure. All right. Yeah. Actually, supposed to be singing there this morning. You know, I love the summer because every weekend it's a good reason to just eat early and jump. And during the rest of the week, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll try to be healthy. And I am. I'm pretty good.
In the summer, you walk more, you're out and about.
That's the thing. From the sun, like I don't want to keep it. Yeah, that's really cool. Or get home and it's like 90 degrees, like out of the oven. It makes it just hotter. Why? I kind of don't mind it, but only because I know it's going to get hot, so I might as well just enjoy the minutes when I can.
That's what I told myself.
And I open up all the doors of my apartment and windows, and I like, yeah, I'm like, it's so cold and so good. Yeah, but ever since they opened that Chipotle, it's a pretty good steak. Yeah. It's at least somewhat healthy, right? Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst thing. They're definitely the worst. I'm a violinist. I just say that to qualify everything. Myself. You get a fair amount of protein. If you're like, you're lifting weights or something. Good way to go. The rice if you can. But I like it. Yeah. Cookies for breakfast. Cookies and coffee. That's me. Yeah, PhD Burger Show. I think I tweeted yesterday. I tweeted a picture of you and actually did code for Princeton ad code instead of code Princeton.
What's your name?
So like, CCNP Pro.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I got it wrong because I was like, it's a political thing, but I think this is right. But I mean, I have to like 8 hours.
Yeah.
There's an on.
Yeah, I see it.
My whole 18 hours. Yeah, after I wish. I don't know if I want that. The pressure for that.
You know, like,
say one wrong thing, you have like 18,000 people all yell at you.
I kind of missed out on.
I was retweeted.
Whoa! Whoa! Popular. One of your 18,000 followers.
I think it was a picture or something like that.
Yeah, they're pretty sure your life. It's a weird player.
Yeah, just panorama of outside this first starting.
Yeah, I probably stopped by where
Where is that?
It's New Brunswick.
Oh yeah, I saw it. It was like so far away, but
See, I actually live close to it.
Oh yeah.
The thing is, they usually get together at 6:30 in the evening. So if I'm, well now I'm like looking for jobs, but before I'd be in lab trying to get home or maybe 7 and then it's just the opposite way over here. A lot of excuses. They do. That might be important. Although lately I've been in like some really nice clubs. Yeah. I don't like go running for the first time because I hate running. I hate running. It's nice out. Workouts. So I guess my favorite workout is my less than.
Oh, okay.
If I had the choice. I guess we're good. I feel like if they're on the podcast. Yeah, real collaborators. Yeah, we gotta get on this. Yeah. You can't have an even number.
I know, that's the thing.
You need 5 or 7. There's gotta be a tie.
So it will be the tiebreaker.
And Maddie will be the extra tiebreaker. They'll both be tiebreakers.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Please take your seats. Our judges will announce, our expert panelists will announce the results of their deliberations shortly. So please take your seats. We want to be out of here by 1.
We forgot how many people are actually in Princeton.
You're no hacker, but.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, oh, it's beautiful out. It's warm.
Have you been reading at?
I try to avoid it too. That's why.
Actually, one of the biggest things in Silicon Valley is that a lot of hackers, yeah.
That stuff they drink, it's like the
Soylent
Green. I mean, yeah, every time I
always think
like, you know,
made martinis.
I own for a week.
Yeah.
Anything about Soylent, I always like association.
That is why they call it.
I know. I know the movie.
Imagine never having to eat again. But it's a pleasure.
Oh, yeah.
That mic is not on. Is it on?
No, there's just a button right on the base of it.
Hi everyone, if you can come back to your seats, we're going to do a little awards.
Someone grab the people outside and just let them know.
Thank you, Member.
So the first award we have is for the restaurants group, and they're getting the Satisfactory Data Award because they did a lot with the data that they have.
Wait a minute, we don't have everybody back yet.
Oh, okay. Oh. More people coming back in. Okay, I think I'll start now. So the first award we have is for the restaurants group, and we have the Satisfactory Data Award for them because, as you all saw with that data, every restaurant was rated satisfactory. So we really appreciate the work they did with that.
For the carpool team, we have the Pen and Paper Award, and for taking design back to its roots. For the walkability group, we have the Walk the Walk Award. All right, for the cycling team, we have the Most Psyched Award.
And for the SAVE team, we have the most warm and fuzzy award.
And then for the elections team, we have the most awesome use of awesome, OSM, the street map. And they also get to go to ice cream with the mayor.
And last but not least, we have the energy team, and they win the Energizer Bunny Award because they have been hacking for a very long time. And they also have the award of Tiger Labs, which Claire will do logistics.
They also, you guys also get 1 month of free membership at Tiger Labs, which is a nice co-work space.
That's everything. Oh, Jane?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to bring up anybody who is on the Code for Princeton organizing team. And we've already got Claire and Maddie here, and if other Claire can take herself away, and Mambier and Christine Symington. Who else is on the core team that spent time? Stephen from our library.
Yeah.
Stephen Millett and Kim Dorman back there. I know you're taking pictures. If you want to just come up front. And of course, Mayor Liz Lempert was in on it. Who else was in on our email chains when all these emails went out? I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. And this is probably, and I know there was like team leaders and a lot of other people that went into making this happen, but this is really the core group of people that dedicated their time and energy to this project, and they really need a big round of applause, all of them. I want to. And just for each of them, they have a little award themselves from the library. These are done at a makerspace near here on sustainable wood. Christina liked that. And it's the quote from outside our library that said, I had always imagined paradise as a kind of library. And so hopefully this is a little bit of low tech for our high tech crowd, that when they go to read their next book, they can think of the fun they had here this weekend organizing everybody for this hackathon. So it's just a little symbol from the library, appreciation for all the work that they did for us. Thank you.
Thank you. And while I have everyone's attention, if everyone could give Jamie, if she would stop for a second, a huge round of applause. She was the one who really so much. She's the one who found Code for America and really pushed this through way before I was ever involved.
Yay.
Stay tuned for the next one.
Yeah. Go to the meetup, go to the webpage. Yeah. Come back and bring your friends.
June 12th.
This Friday. This Friday, yeah.
Follow us on Twitter, Facebook.
I was trying to get the pictures and they told me I'm not supposed to. No,
Sorry? I have no idea. Jamie is the best person. Sorry. I park in a non-paying lot, so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
If you ever need any support, volunteering,
You guys are not going anywhere. You guys keep coming back. Yeah. This is not the end of it. This is just the start. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thank you very much.
yes,